The whispering vale of Qadira, in the furthest reach of the Saffron Desert, where the sands shimmer like molten gold at dusk, there stood the forgotten city of Qadira. It had once been a cradle of scholars and mystics, a place where the stars were read like scrolls, and the wind itself was said to carry secrets. But time, like a thief in the night, had taken Qadira from the world's memory, except for one man. He was called Talib, a wanderer with eyes the color of worn bronze and a face carved by sun and sand. They said he walked alone, not out of pride, but out of purpose. Some claimed he sought the library of breaths, a place where the last truths of the world whispered themselves into ink. Others whispered he was mad, chasing illusions spun by wind spirits. Talib had followed signs most would never notice. A hawk circling thrice without caw, a dune that hummed when stepped upon, a mirage that did not vanish. For 7 years and 7 moons he had walked, led by riddles spoken in his sleep, always toward the forgotten city no map remembered. One evening, as the sun knelt low and bled itself into the horizon, he saw it. Qadira, cloaked in veils of dust and silence, her towers leaning like tired elders, her gates cracked but still proud. The air shifted as he stepped through her threshold, thick, scented with jasmine and age. No wind stirred, no creature moved. Even the shadows held their breath. At the heart of the city lay the veiled courtyard, where legends said the whispering veil hung. It was no tapestry, no curtain of silk, but a living breath of woven mist, stitched together by the first sages, floating between marble pillars. It whispered truths only to those who dared ask the right question, and bore the cost of the answer. Talib stood before it, his journey's end near. The veil pulsed faintly like a heart, remembering its rhythm. He took one step closer, and the mist shimmered with anticipation. "What do you seek, wanderer?" it whispered, in a voice like dew falling into fire. "Wisdom," Talib replied. The veil did not tremble. "All seek it. Few understand what it is." Talib's eyes closed for a moment. "Then teach me." There was a long silence, during which the courtyard darkened and the stars began to bloom above. Then the veil parted slightly, revealing a doorway of light. "Step through and you may learn, but know this. Every truth you gather will demand a truth you hide. You will not return the same." Talib hesitated, not out of fear, but out of reverence. Then he stepped through. The world shifted. He was no longer in Qadira, but in a memory, not his, but the world's. He stood in a village drowning in laughter, where a child played beside a well. Suddenly a snake slithered near, unseen by the girl. A woman nearby saw it, but did not warn her. Talib turned to her, fury in his throat. "She let the child die?" "No," the veil whispered. "The woman saw that the snake would turn if unnoticed, that it would vanish if not feared. To scream would have made it strike. She chose silence, and the child lived." Talib blinked, and the world changed again. Now he was in a palace where a king signed a scroll that doomed 1,000. Talib clenched his fists. "This is not wisdom. This is cruelty." "He signed so the war would end," the veil murmured. "The 1,000 were already chosen. 1,000,000 were spared." Scene after scene played before Talib, a beggar who gave his last coin to a thief, a liar who saved a nation, a man who broke a promise to keep his soul. Each time the veil whispered, and each time the answers twisted in his chest, unraveling what he once believed to be certain. When he finally emerged, he was not as he had been. His eyes saw more, and spoke less. The desert wind greeted him as an equal. He walked back into the world not with scrolls or spells, but with something older, the calm of one who had seen truth without judgment, and learned that wisdom does not roar, it whispers. From then on, people still spoke of Talib, but differently. no longer a madman, nor merely a seeker. They called him the Listener of Qadira, and in times of great trouble they sought him not for answers, but for silence. For in his silence they found the right questions. And far in the desert, beyond where maps dared stretch, the whispering veil still waits, soft, patient, and watching, for the next soul who dares to ask not what is right, but what is wise.